$150. You reread the fee notice twice on your phone, checking whether you tapped the wrong date. You didn't. You paid rent exactly 1 day late. The bank processed the transfer slower than expected. Something outside your control, but the lease doesn't care about the reason. Late is late. The penalty is calculated by the day, not by the circumstances. $800 is what you pay every month for your current apartment. This penalty eats up almost a fifth of that for 1 day. There are still many more levels to come. You write a complaint email, attaching a screenshot of your bank statement to prove you didn't mean to be late. 3 days pass before you get a reply, a template response. No mention of the screenshot you sent. The fee stays the same. That same week, another deduction shows up on the bill, an elevator maintenance fee. 2T, $6. Something you've never seen before. No notice, no explanation. You start recalculating every meal. Not quite starving, just buying less. Picking the cheaper option. Saying you already ate when friends invite you along. That weekend, you wait in line at the leasing office to ask in person. The person helping you types on the computer, eyes never leaving the screen, giving you the same lines you already read in the email. You leave, still holding the receipt no one bothered to look at. At this level, you're no longer a tenant. You're a file number. Something to be processed and closed out during someone's shift. This isn't rock bottom yet. $1,500 a month. The number you reach after a summer of working weekend shifts non-stop. No one congratulates you for it, but the management company still keeps an eye on you. Just not the way you'd want. The common area fee keeps showing up on the bill every month, even though the space has been closed for repairs for 3 months now. You ask about it, and the answer is a link to the original lease, the part you signed without reading closely. When the lease is about to expire, you ask to renegotiate the rate. The only offer they give, pay 2 extra months up front, in exchange for keeping the current price for another year. You read the terms over and over, trying to find what's actually in it for you. You don't find anything. A pipe in the kitchen starts leaking one evening. You submit a repair request through the app. It sits untouched in the queue for 2 weeks before anyone comes to look at it. You go back to the office. Printed list of issues in hand. The manager is busy chatting cheerfully with the tenant ahead of you, even asking which school their kids go to. When it's your turn, the conversation shrinks down to exactly what's needed to close out the ticket. To them, you're not a person. You're a file waiting to be processed according to procedure, but something is about to change. Thought process, $3,000 a month. For half a year straight, you haven't been late once. Not even during the months you had to work overtime to scrape the money together before the 5th. The common area fee, the one that used to annoy you, is suddenly gone from this month's bill. No one calls to give you a heads up. You have to check twice before you believe it's real. A lease renewal message arrives in your inbox, this time with no extra conditions attached. A few days later, you get an offer to move into a unit with a better view. For just a bit more. You agree to try it, and the application gets approved that same afternoon. Next time you go to the office, the person at the counter greets you before you can even speak. Not the warmth reserved for whoever's on the top floors of the building, but nothing like the silence you used to know either. To them, who you really are matters less than whether you pay on time. At this level, that history starts to carry its own worth. If you're at this level, and still feel like you haven't been recognized the way you deserve, leave a comment with the number 1. You open the app and see your approved rental limit has just gone up. No one asked your opinion first. A call comes in on a Tuesday morning, earlier than you usually wake up. On the other end is an actual person, stating their name clearly, repeating it once more so you remember a name that'll come up many more times after this. They ask directly, "Are you planning to stay long-term?" The same company that once left your emails sitting unanswered for 3 days now calls you before you even get the chance to ask anything. You report a billing error by text. Less than 2 hours later, you get a reply confirming it's been fixed, along with a handwritten apology. Not a template one. Every so often, a personalized email arrives, a unit on a higher floor. More open, brighter, with a line that reads, "For trusted tenants like you." Not pushy. Just enough for you to realize the company is trying to keep you. Very gently. Very quietly. Now you finally understand what no one said outright while you were struggling. They never hated you. They simply didn't pay attention. And that lack of attention, at a large enough scale, is no different from being mistreated. Every dollar you paid on time over all those months is now quietly buying you something you never had before, being noticed. The label priority tenant starts showing up in welcome emails, on the payment portal, even in the email signature of the person managing your file. You didn't give yourself that title. Your monthly rent did it for you. The person handling your account now has a name, Marcus. He brings up a detail you'd mentioned in passing months earlier. Right at the moment it becomes relevant. Not a coincidence Marcus is trained to remember small things like that, because they're what actually keeps tenants around long term. An invitation to move into a bigger unit arrives in your inbox, with a price already pre-approved, as if they decided on your behalf that you deserved it. The last time you visited the office, you didn't have to wait in line. Someone walked you straight into a private room to talk. Another apartment complex calls, offering a better rate if you switch over. You mention it to Marcus. Less than an hour later, he calls back with a retention offer, the first month free, plus a parking spot at no extra charge. At $12,000, you're no longer just a priority tenant to them. You're something they don't want to lose. You no longer have to reach out to the leasing office. Now, the service comes to you. Marcus stops texting. He calls directly. His first question isn't how you're doing, it's asking when you're free to meet the head of premium tenant relations. That person comes to where you live, bringing a leather-bound folder, laying out options for your upcoming renewal. The questions circle around your long-term plans, whether you're thinking of buying a home, whether you need more space. The meeting runs almost an hour, and by the end, no one tries to close anything. They just leave a business card, saying they'll follow up. The persuasion was already finished before you even noticed. You're no longer offered rental packages. Now, they consult you. The two are not the same thing. The parking garage door jams at midnight. You call. Someone picks up on the first ring, and it's resolved right there on the call. No transfers to anyone else. The building hosts a private rooftop evening for a small group of residents. No one mentions the lease or rent the whole night. At $20,000, you're no longer a tenant. You're something they're trying to hold on to. If you believe everyone deserves to be treated this way from the start, without having to prove their worth first, leave a comment with the number 2. It still sounds like property management. But that's not really what this is anymore. Management is a fixed set of procedures. This is a relationship, and relationships can renegotiate any procedure. You no longer go through the shared leasing office. Now, you have the direct phone number of someone from the family that owns the building, someone who personally handles fewer than 20 units out of their entire portfolio. The unit you live in is one of them. He remembers your pet's name, remembers a small story you told once, a long time ago. Renewal terms no longer follow the standard rate sheet. Everything gets settled over one short phone call. The deposit for interior renovations gets waived entirely. Paperwork that takes 2 weeks for a regular tenant takes you 2 days. Because someone let people know in advance whose file this was. You visit another building in the same network, somewhere you've never set foot before. The staff there already know your name before you introduce yourself. Not because you're famous, because your information has already been flagged across the whole system. At $35,000, the rules no longer apply to you the way they apply to everyone else. You no longer call them your landlord. It's a relationship now, and the distance between those two words is exactly the distance between this level and every level below it. Keeping you has become a stated goal in someone's performance review inside the company. If you leave, that person's career takes a direct hit. No one has to compete to keep you anymore. The whole system rearranges itself around not losing you. A few positions in the asset management department exist, in part because of the unit you're renting. They themselves don't know that. But the number is still the number. Every term is now written for one specific person, no longer pulled from a shared rate sheet. Repair schedules, interior upgrades, all arranged around your exact timeline. You no longer have to ask for anything. Everything finds you before you even think to ask. But the real shift isn't about being favored. It's about being consulted. The asset manager even asks your opinion on what amenities to design for the new residents moving in. You're now helping reshape the very system that once fined you $150 for being a single day late. At $50,000, there's no such thing as a tenant anymore. Only a partner. And that partner is you, right now. Somewhere else. Someone else just opened their banking app and saw a penalty fee just deducted. Exactly 1 day late, not their fault. Just the transfer system processing slower than usual. They reread the number twice, making sure they didn't misread it. They send a complaint email. A few days later, they get a canned response. No mention of their circumstances at all. They don't know yet that the system isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. The same company that will, someday down the road, ask their opinion on what amenities to build is, right now, penalizing them for a small mistake they never made. You're always the same person, at any rent level. The company only treats you differently based on the number next to your name. That number doesn't change who they are. It just makes what they already were more visible. You don't get to choose where the system places you right now. But you do get to choose how you treat yourself while you wait for that to change. Every time you manage to pay on time, even if it means eating less to do it. Every time you stay kind, even when no one's kind back. That's not weakness. That's something that will eventually be seen. The level you're standing at today isn't where you'll stay forever, but it only changes if you keep holding steady. Even on the days no one's standing beside you. If this story made you see yourself in it, leave a comment with the number 3. And if you want to see more stories like this, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one.